Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Give me one second. I had this all loaded up and everything. Okay, so, I'm sure many parents have told you that you shouldn't be on your smartphone at temple, unless the minister tells you to, which is a good rule. No? No laugh, so I guess everyone's on their smartphone anyway. But, how many of you have a smartphone today? Yeah, okay. Please pull it out. Let's see. All right, Stuart, I'm ready. How many of you have seen Kahoot? So you can join with the app if you haven't already, or you can go to kahoot.it, and then you can put in this PIN number to join this game. Is anyone able to get it? Hey, okay. Oh yeah, so I turned off putting in your own name so we didn't get a bunch of names that were like cool and stuff. We'll see how many people we can get in here. I checked the limit and I guess it's 1,000. And I don't think there's 1,000 people, so I think everyone that wants to get in should get in. Oh, still going. Okay. Is that no, okay. Okay, I think that's, no, okay, all right. Still going. Wow, 60, okay. Okay, that's gotta be. Still going? Okay, alright. Alright, yeah, this is the first time I tried this, so maybe I should like do this before? I don't know. Okay, everyone? Is that? Okay. No, still not? Everyone? Alright, if you aren't in, yell out, wait. Wait. Okay, so that was it, right? Everybody? No? Okay, that's gotta be everybody, right? Oh, okay. Oh, great. Okay. There. Alright. What? That's just, this should just be my Dharma talk. Yeah, just up here riffing off of this, yeah. Oh. you haven't played before, this first question will be kind of a warm-up question. It won't count for anything. So this is the first one. Hopefully this works out. Let's see if it works. All right, so after this, you'll have 20 seconds to answer this question. So then answer it on your smartphone there. All right. One person. Good job, most of you. But now you see what will happen with the answers, right? Everyone kind of gets the hang of it. Pretty simple, right? All right, here's the next question.
Oh, I see.
First scoreboard. So no one gets any points for that one because that was a test question. But you get points based on how fast. Why are you booing? You get plenty of points later. Okay, here we go. Who is the gold statue in the middle of the night? Chinese restaurant. So the answer is Amida Buddha. Alright, here we go. Good job, Jolly Puffin. Doing it fastest. Next question. Who is the founder of Jodo Shinshu? I'll give you a picture too. So you can recognize it.
You were listening when you said that.
Hey! Very good. Very good, everyone. There we go. Next one. Oh, Jolly Puffin. Alright, so you get another picture. You gotta tell me what it's called. Oh, Jolly Puffin knocked down by rapid urge. All right, you guys ready for some math questions? How many zeros come after the 1 of 1 quintillion?
You might as well get it right. You might as well get it 5 million. Yeah, 25% chance.
Whoa! First question, most people didn't get it right. Oh, now we're using you. And you first. Alright, we're going to continue with the math theme. 50-50 odds the first two. 50-50 odds, refer to. It's up there at the top.
It looks like Dave wrote a team like 18.
Alright, very good. 22. Oh, rapid urchin taking it back. Alright, here we go. More math. been struck by lightning in your lifetime? Oh, it's apparently much more common than any of you would think. Rocky Eagle coming in. Alright, more odds. What are the odds of being non-favorable Hollywood accident? This was actually taken from a study done by the CDC, the Center for Disease Control.
I should have gone to That's so calm. So is that Italy?
Wow, I guess a lot of you get injured in toilet accidents. Oh, a lot of crap about that one. Real quick.
I'm down 1,000 points. Come on.
What are the odds of an amateur hitting a hole in one?
Oh, almost. That is definitely not correct. 45.
I just want to see it blue light up.
Hey! Oh, pretty good.
I'm going
So, like, if it's 12,500 to 1, and there's 90 people playing this, then that means that none of you have hit a hole in one?
because it's all green.
What are the odds of being a movie star?
This one actually probably is.
Probably wasn't smart.
What are the odds of winning the Powerball lottery?
I just know it's
Not good. That's how it is. I don't think it's 1.4 billion. But
I'm so one with 7-year-old. That was nice. I was first
Okay,
And that's
so here's the results of our champions for this first Kahoot quiz. Who was helpful, Gecko? Oh, nice! Everyone give him a hand. All right, how about Fearless Otter? And our third place, Rocky Emu. Way in the back there. Okay, good job. What is this? Get results? What is that? All right, enough of that. So, good job, everybody. I was inspired to do something like this with like a bunch of different mods and stuff because recently it has been the month of March, which means that it is March Madness. So there's all these college teams playing against each other. How many of you guys have made a bracket? You guys doing okay? No? Well, believe it or not, there was a perfect streak that someone had every game right up to 49 games. And it just recently ended in the 50th game. But up until then, this was the longest that anyone had ever guessed all of the games correctly. And it's not a perfect science, right? But if every game was a coin flip, if it was 50-50, then the odds of predicting 49 in a row to 1 are 5 trillion, 562 trillion, 949 billion, 953 million, 421,312. So 562 trillion. Can anyone imagine how big that number is? Kind of thinking about, yeah, a little bit? Okay. So, this is an incredibly large number, and like the number of getting every single one of them right is 9.2 quintillion. So you remember that first question that I asked about how many zeros come after? That's even bigger than this trillion number. And I wanted to play this game with you, kind of to get everyone interactive, have a little bit of fun, but then also to kind of flex your brain muscles and see if you could imagine, the kind of odds, how lucky it would be to be a movie star or to win the Powerball lottery, or even something as simple as being injured in a non-fatal toilet accident. But these kind of understanding these odds, kind of stretching our minds kind of beyond the natural scope of things, is something that was done by Buddhist monks thousands of years ago. So they also had these meditation practices which tried to make them imagine these incredibly massive, grand scale things. So one of them, which I think maybe everyone has at least a little bit of connection with, is this word kalpa. So we said that in today, right, in the Three Treasures? I think we said kalpa. Okay, so the way it was explained to me was, imagine a very large mountain, the biggest mountain you've ever seen. I guess the biggest mountain you could imagine would be Mount Everest, but imagine this huge mountain. Now, imagine this heavenly maiden. So if you imagine this kind of spiritual being that flies around. Now, heavenly maidens wear only the finest clothing, so the softest silk that you can imagine. That's what this heavenly maiden is wearing. Now, every 1,000 years, this heavenly maiden flies over the mountain, and then the sleeve of her robe just very gently raises over the top of the mountain. The time it would take for this mountain to be whittled down to nothing with that would be the length of a coal. Did I blow everybody's mind? So, there you go. So there's the line where it says, even through ancient music called Parsi, you said Bishop Bond, wonderful teaching, right? So in that many, not just one kalpa, but myriads of kalpas, that's how difficult it is to hear this teaching, right? What is the first line of the Three Treasures? You can whisper it, I guess? Yes, okay, fortune is to be born into human life. And the second one is? Now we're looking at it. The third one? And then the fourth one. All right, that's all I need from you. Thank you very much. Very good. You guys are all paying attention today. But there's this idea that it's very fortunate for us to be alive, to be born into this human life. And also, very rare is it to come into contact with this teaching. But a lot of times, I don't think we understand how fortunate we are. Because we come to the temple, because we know it exists, because we can access it anytime. Very often do we not realize how lucky we are to have the teaching in our lives. And so because of that, we take it for granted. This is a notion that is shared with Shinran, not for taking it for granted, but realizing how lucky it was by our founder, Shinran Shonin, right? Everyone saw his nice picture today. Most people got it right, so they knew who it was. But he says in his magnum opus, the Kyoryo Shinsho, in the chapter on Shinji, he quotes the seventh master Shandao, and he says, "Extremely difficult is it to encounter an age in which the Buddha appears, and difficult indeed for a person to realize the wisdom of Shinji. To come to hear the Dharma rarely met with is again, among all things, most difficult. To realize Shinji in oneself and to guide others to Shinji is among difficult things, yet even more difficult. To awaken beings everywhere to great compassion is truly to respond in gratitude to the Buddha's benevolence." So this idea that there's all these things that are difficult. Not only is it difficult to be born here in this time, when we're able to have contact with Buddha, maybe not directly, but in a time where somebody has seen Buddha. Even more difficult than that is to realize and understand the wisdom of the Buddha. And even more difficult than that is to teach somebody else that wisdom. So I guess my job's real hard. Again, understanding how difficult this is, once we realize that it's something that's so hard to come across, it'll help us with our appreciation of how important it is. When we have something so rare, we appreciate it even more, right? Unless it's something that we get all the time, then it's not something that we really understand as having been lucky for. So, I don't know. When I was thinking about this, the best example I could come up with was Pokemon. Does everyone caught what's Pokemon? Yeah. Okay. Does everyone know what a Pokemon is? No? Alright. Well, Google it later. But there's always the rare Pokemon, and that's what you want, right? Those are the ones you're looking for. If you get a bunch of the not rare ones, it doesn't matter. Tons of Zubats, don't want that. You want something else, you want something more rare. So this idea where we really put value in something rare, we spend more time and effort looking for it, understanding it, trying to study it. And so if we understand how important it is, how lucky it is for us to be able to have contact with his teaching, hopefully it will allow us to have that same kind of reverence, that same kind of effort in trying to understand it. Now backing up a little bit, I was talking about the chapter on Shinji that Shinran that I quoted from. Have I spoke about Shinji before? Yeah, maybe, a little bit? Okay, well here's a refresher course. It's really difficult to talk about. But if we come at it with many different ways, if we take different parts of it and try to expand on it, then hopefully we start to begin to understand what Shinjin is. Now, it's said that there's these 3 minds which make up Shinjin, but I won't go over all of them now. I think that would be too much of a lecture in and of itself. But there is one part of it that I'd like to go over, and it's this idea of aspiration, this mind of aspiration. So Shinran says that the essence of aspiration is none other than pure, true, and real Shinjin. But foolish beings transmigrating in samsara, multitudes passing many lives through long kalpas, lack the pure mind of directing merit towards attaining enlightenment and toward all beings, the true and real mind of directing merit. Thus, while the Tathagata was performing practices as a bodhisattva in the stage leading to Buddhahood, there was not a single moment, not an instant, in his endeavor in the 3 modes of action when he did not realize the mind of great compassion, taking the directing of his virtue to beings as foremost. Hence, the Tathagata directs this pure, true, and real mind of aspiration of birth to all sentient beings. Now, that probably just sounded like a bunch of mumbo jumbo, right? Kind of hard to really understand. But what the important part is that the Tathagata, which is Amida Buddha, which everyone now knows from that quiz is the center being, directs this pure and true real mind of aspiration. So it directs this Shinji, it directs this true real heart to all beings. Now, again, all of this is kind of maybe, metaphysical over everybody's head, or it doesn't really connect to you. But in this previous quote that I quoted, to awaken beings everywhere to great compassion is truly to respond in gratitude to the Buddha's benevolence, I think is what really hits on the heart of it. That for all of us to really understand the heart of Buddhism, to understand this Shinji, is to awaken beings everywhere to great compassion. And so of course this starts with each and every one of us, to awaken great compassion within each of our hearts. And then to truly respond in gratitude would be to help the people around us, to help them understand it, to help them feel it, to help them understand this great heart of compassion. So, to kind of bring it back full circle, it's really important for us to understand how important this teaching is, how really truly lucky we are. It's really lucky to win the lottery, it's really lucky to be a movie star, but it's even more lucky for us to be able to be here, to have this opportunity to listen to the Dharma, to understand it, to teach it, to study it, to come into contact with other people who are also on that same path. And if we realize how lucky it is for us to be here, then we'll understand how grateful we should be responding when we understand this true heart of compassion. If you could please join me in Gasho. Namo Buddhist. Namo Buddhist.